We do not have to go very far to see the necessity of metaphysics for epistemology, because even the methodology of analytical thinking involves primarily the hypotheses. The hypothesis is a speculative assumption that may or may not be true, made about the phenomenon before the investigation of whether it is true or not true. When we say if it is true or not, this means whether the assumption made about the phenomenon prior to the observation of it conforms with the phenomenon after the observation of it. Metaphysics is ingrained in epistemology in such a manner that the only real question that a serious scientist must ask is, what kind of ontology am I going to hold in determining my epistemology? Science is a matter of figuring out the true ontology by seeing how the world conforms to belief. The task of choosing the ontology is the importance of philosophy. In the present modern times, it is argued that science is not motivated by ideology and that science is free from a motive, it is neutral to the facts. This method secretly perpetuates an ideology in science by suggesting that science is free from a motive, free from some kind of worldview, that science is not trying to prove a particular worldview, but rather a worldview is a residual, a consequence arising out of the findings it derived from nature by way of its impartial methodology. This strategy in modern science is used as a way to confirm that their ideology is true because it is naturally arrived at by simply following the data. It cannot be argued against because it is what the facts state. And to go against it means to be a bigot going against so-called concrete facts. The ideologues of science use this argumentation to shut down and counteract the critique that states any science is motivated by a hypothesis it is aiming to prove. And they say, our science is not motivated by anything prior. How metaphysics relates to epistemology, epistemology derives facts about metaphysics, and in turn, metaphysics derives facts about epistemology. From whatever side you're coming from, the correct application of one discipline presupposes the other discipline, but it presupposes it in an unequal way where one guides the other and the other follows the one. Just like, for example, in the relationship between a man and a woman, they are equally necessary, but not necessarily equal. That is, they are not equal in their roles in the relationship to each other, but they are both necessarily equal in making up the relationship. Modern scientists do not want to admit that a closer look into their ontology may reveal an evil intent, so they hide behind impartial facts, behind neutral facts about nature, to work behind the scenes to implement their vision of nature, which is all too strongly motivated by the ontology they assume to not be present. Any real divide does not originate from one system being antithetical to the other, but rather if there is going to be any divide given, it will be to indicate what each discipline is concerned with. The distinction between metaphysics and epistemology is that they inquire about the different elements of the same truth. The former is the inquiry into the nature of things that makes them the kind of things that they are, without needing to fixate on anything in specific. Whereas the inquiry of the latter deals with specific things as they each are distinct from each other, without needing to know the nature of what they share in common.